reduce stress to improve learning. Calm brains learn better and process better, and your regulation sets the tone. Welcome to the Foster Your Voice podcast with me, Kristi Foster. After a 30-year career in music and theater, I never imagined I'd be coaching trial attorneys. But once I entered your world, I quickly realized how critical and underutilized voice is in the courtroom. The truth is, you don't win trials with brute strength. You win with your voice. I'll give you tools to unlock your voice so you can communicate not just with purpose, but on purpose. If you want quick action tips to help you stay calm and in control, keep jurors engaged, and inspire your listeners to action, all through the power of your voice, you're in the right place. I'm Kristi Foster, and I'm here to help you foster your voice. Hello, Foster fam. Welcome back to another episode of the Foster Your Voice podcast with me, Kristi Foster, your host. I've just been noticing as I've been checking in with clients and other just colleagues, just doing a friendly check-in across the nation, they're always saying just how busy they are. And of course, if you're a trial attorney, you know how busy you always are. And I know stress is just at an all-time high across all the population. Generally across all of us, we're dealing with stress. So I think we need to talk about it a little bit. Whether that stress is chronic for you or if it just shows up occasionally, this exercise can help you recenter. I, thankfully, have not been a long-term anxiety sufferer. There's probably been a low-level undercurrent there that actually I've probably been able to use as fuel for administrative skills, proactive problem solving, and organization. But in the last 6 months or so, I have sensed a shift. I'm talking it up to perimenopause. All my research kind of shows that anxiety levels do increase when hormones are a little out of whack. So it supports that notion. But as I walk down this pathway of life, I have just been confronted with my need to actually manage my anxiety. Last fall, I had, it was maybe about 2 weeks of really being imbalanced and dysregulated. And it kind of scared me, actually. But it did help me really grow in compassion for folks that I know really suffer under that kind of imbalance and dysregulation. It was at that point, well, not only did I talk to people in my life, people close to me, and I wanted to alert them what was going on, but I also started to kind of curate and bring into my sphere some exercises and protocols that I could help myself through those moments. I find this particular exercise that I'm going to teach you here in a minute just helps me bring focus back to the moment, bring me back to the present, especially if I'm caught in some obsessive thought from the past or if I'm projecting too far into the future. This exercise is a 5-4-3-2-1 grounding practice. Are you familiar with this already? It's designed to interrupt those spiraling thoughts and just anchor your attention into the present. Now, whether this is new to you or you're already kind of familiar, let's do it together just right now. It's easy to do by yourself, wherever you are, whenever you need to. So we're going to use our 5 senses to just connect to the present space you're in and bring ourselves back to feeling grounded. So we start with naming 5 things you can see. There's no rhyme or reason for it. They don't all have to be in the same category or the same color scheme. You're not looking for yellow things in your room. Just look around your space and name 5 things you can see with your eyes. So I see a pot of flowers. I see a throw pillow. I see a music stand. I see lamps. And I see my microphone. Next, Let's name 4 things you can touch without moving about, just what's touchable in your immediate space. So I can touch my printer. I can touch my selfie stick, my water bottle, and my neck fan, regulating temperature here. Okay, so that's 5, now 4. Now let's name 3 things we can hear. Just tune into your space. I can hear a plane in the distance. There it goes. I hear my neighbor's dog barking. I don't know if you can hear that, but Eleanor is setting up a little bit of a bark because of the plane, probably. And let's see, I can hear even just the faint sounds of the lights above me buzzing. It's not really a buzz, it's just ambient noise. It's very subtle, but I can attune myself to hear that. Okay, so 5 things you could see, 4 things you could touch, 3 things you could hear. Now 2 things that you can smell. Now, this one's a little tricky for me because I'm kind of in a contained area in my apartment. Then I don't have a lot of fragrances, but let's see. Oh, I can smell my lotion. And I can smell my coffee cup that I had this morning. Coffee. I might need to have a second cup here before too long. Okay, so I can smell those things. What are you smelling? Just 2 smells. And lastly, what's one thing that you can taste? Now, I have some white grape peach flavoring in my water, so I'll say that because I just had a sip of water before I started. So, yep, I can taste that. Okay, that's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding exercise. Even if you just do a couple of the easier ones, if you have limited time, it's all good to bring you back into the present. The goal isn't to do it perfectly, it's to shift your focus. Now, partner that with some good, low, deep breaths in between, and now you have a really winning combination. I've put the link to the article in the show notes that explains a bit more about this specific grounding exercise if you want to read up on it. And I hope that you found it helpful. I know it's been really helpful for me, especially in this uncertain season of my life. So send me a message and let me know if you've tried this and if it had any effect, both positive or negative, and before and after. I'd love to hear from you. Hey, real quick, if your jurors look confused when you say liability, standard of care, or damages, they're not tuning out because they don't care. They're tuning out because they don't speak law. I've put together a free guide called Top 20 Legal Terms to Avoid and What to Say Instead. It'll help you simplify your language without losing credibility, so your message actually lands. Download it now at fostervoicestudio.com/top20 or click the link in the show notes. All right, back to the episode. Have you ever walked into a room and you can just sense something is a little off? Call it discernment or intuition or level 3 awareness. But I think we've all experienced something like this before. Maybe you've walked into a meeting just after your partners were in an elevated conversation. Their argument has stopped, but you can just feel that residual energy in this space. Maybe you've even said out loud, "Everything okay?" As you kind of like freeze your body and wait. Has that happened to you before? Or something similar? You can just sense tension, sense a little bit of stress. Something's not at neutral. It's that kind of intangible hovering in the air, hard to define type of stress that jurors are under. There's tension in the courtroom. One party has sued the other party because of some bad doing. That is a tension-filled scenario, and that tension doesn't just disappear when the proceedings begin. people are braced. Attorneys, witnesses, clients, and most certainly the jurors. Jurors have an element of uncertainty that the others don't have. The attorneys, witnesses, clients, and the judge even, they know what the case is about. Jurors are coming in blind. They're the ones walking into a conference room meeting, so to speak, and bracing themselves for the unknown. They are stressed. And stressful scenarios are not ideal for listening, for learning, for equal balance in the nervous system, and for decision making. So, you need to do something. But what can you do as a leader in the courtroom to bring down the tension? Well, first, you need to keep your own stress level in check. Just like breathing is contagious, as I've talked about in other episodes, stress is also contagious. You set the emotional tone for the courtroom. Whatever energy you want to radiate into the room, that's the type of energy you need to bring into the room. And let's just recognize that you are not the originator of the stress. You might be contributing to it through your own energy, like I just talked about, but you didn't start the stress. The situation, the justice system, the very building lays the stress foundation, and you're the one that has to try to course correct. As leadership coach Carolyn Dowd-Higgins says, it's like inheriting a house with faulty wiring. Just because you didn't install it doesn't mean you're not responsible for fixing it. So, beyond self-regulation, how are you going to fix it? Well, I admittedly don't have the answer, but one answer is to acknowledge it briefly and confirm your juror's sanity. Even starting your voir dire with a simple statement like, I know this setting can feel formal and a bit uncomfortable, but I'm hoping that we can set that aside for a bit and just have an easy conversation about some of the principles of the case. This is called a designed alliance, and I know Sari Delamotte from her From Hostage to Hero book, she talks a lot about this too. The goal here is just to disrupt the stress energy and bring about some ease into the moment. Disarm, connect, start right from the get-go to try building bridges and creating an environment that is open, warm, welcoming, inclusive, accommodating, and attentive to jurors' mental, emotional, and physical needs. Reduce stress to improve learning. Calm brains learn better and process better, and your regulation sets the tone. Until next time, keep fostering your voice. Thanks for pulling up a seat with me today and for being part of the Foster fam. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode. And while you're at it, go ahead and leave a review or a comment so I can give you a shout out on a future episode. During the week, you can find me on Instagram at Foster Voice Studio, where I'm dropping little nuggets of vocal technique and leadership wisdom. You can also join my mailing list by visiting fostervoicestudio.com or by clicking the link in the show notes. I'll send a weekly vocal tip every Tuesday directly to your inbox. Until then, keep fostering your voice.